Okay. I'm gonna give you guys my theory on the Epstein list. Now, I am gonna mention Dinesh D'Souza's theory real quick. I'm gonna expand on with my opinions, but Republicans have a majority in Congress and Senate right now, but it's a razor thin majority. And maybe if a Republican name is on there and they're forced to resign, it would diminish or wipe out that majority. And Republicans, for the most part, are about saving face, not necessarily right or wrong. Example, this is me talking, not Dinesh. Example, when I was in 8th grade, my history teacher, Bert Falkenstein, talked about Richard Nixon. His opinion of Richard Nixon was that someone broke into the office at the Watergate Hotel, stole documents, brought them back to the president, and told the president, look what we did. The president said, I don't want this shit near me, get it away. But he did not report it. As the head executive of the United States, he was required to report it to Metro PD. He did not. And when they were caught, the cat was out of the bag, and he resigned. The other theory that more people believe in is that he was the one that ordered the burglary. So at one point you have a president who's either turning a blind eye to burglary, or a president that's actually ordering a burglary. Thank you, motorcycle. Either way, he had to resign. Now, it's entirely possible a few Republicans knew something, but when the public knew it too, his own party threatened to impeach him, and that's when the resignation came in. Another example, Strom Thurmond. Strom Thurmond is the only Republican, the only segregationist to go from Democrat to Republican. The only one. He was in office past 100 years old. Now, I think it was when he turned 100, Trent Lott was praising him for supporting segregation. Now, I'll bet $10,000 some Republicans knew Trent Lott was a racist, but the minute he went public supporting segregation, he was forced to resign. Something was not, though. Okay? And that is it for the Republicans. They may not have a problem with this, that, and the other thing, but once you are caught, they want resignation. Democrats have no such shame. Joe Biden is literally the last living segregationist. Not a joke at all. He is a segregationist. He came to Congress, came to the Senate after segregation had ended, but he supported segregation, and all of his friends were Klansmen and segregationists and racists. Okay? Case in point. You literally have Democrats that are calling for killing of police, calling for terrorism. They supported the BLM riots. They're calling for killing of ICE agents. You had a Democrat vice mayor who literally was encouraging gangs to kill ICE agents. You have a Democrat who literally supports Al Qaeda. He's called for the destruction of Israel. He's called for the Jews to be killed. He's saying we need to tax white people. And he is literally the nominee for New York City mayor. So if the list were released tomorrow entirely, and you had 3 Republicans on the list and every Democrat on the list, the Republicans would force each other to resign over the list. The Democrats would not. You literally have Democrats now who support illegal immigration, open borders. They went to El Salvador to support a gang member. okay? And they're not being, Adam Schiff is literally being investigated for real estate fraud, mortgage fraud rather, okay? Case in point, Adam Schiff literally stole $300 million of taxpayer money, tried to set up a narrative that the president was rigging the election with a foreign power, and literally tried to have a revolution against the United States. His stated goal was to create a lie to overthrow the government. That is a bloodless revolution. He got promoted to the Senate after that. He went from Congress to Senate, which is a promotion. Okay? So if that list is full of Democrats, they'll laugh it off. In fact, the Democrats will literally be calling for the Republicans to resign even as their names are being revealed. Pam Bondi could read one Republican name and all Democrats' names. And the Democrats would tell the Republican to resign immediately, while they themselves say it's no big deal. That is a plausible theory. Here's my theory. Okay, I want to make sure that things are on. One time I wasn't, believe it or not. Okay. Now, my professor, who I talk about a million times, the Virginia State Trooper, okay? There was a TV channel down in Virginia where they showed pictures, mugshots of guys arrested for soliciting prostitutes. It had higher ratings than American Idol. One guy was exonerated. Did he have a really good lawyer, or was he arrested for asking a prostitute to get changed for a 20? I don't know. But when he was exonerated, he sued. Now, the Epstein models were 12-year-old girls. The Epstein massage therapists were 17-year-old girls without massage licenses. I believe there was a lot of sexual misconduct going on. I believe that. But what I believe can prove are different things. You may very well have a list of people, Republican, Democrat, politician, lawman, celebrity, that are filled with people that were molesting girls, assaulting girls, whatever the hell they were doing. But there might be one guy on that list that's innocent. It sounds far-fetched, but it might be true. Or they have a bunch of guys on the list, whether they're guilty or not, they can't prove it. Now, I personally, if I saw a bunch of 12-year-old models at my friend's house, I would pull them aside and be like, honey, you're a 12-year-old model. Yes, where's your mother? You can't be modeling without your mother here. Where is she? I would do that. I'm not everyone. Now, if someone is a mandated reporter, a doctor, an attorney, a teacher, okay, a lawman, and they don't report their suspicions, 99% of the time, the worst that happens is they're forced to resign. Case in point, Larry Nassar was sexually assaulting 333 girls over a 25-year period. How many people were mandated to report it? A lot. How many of them were arrested? I don't think any. He was molesting the shit out of girls at the Caroli Ranch. Bella went to his grave a free man and martyred his feet to this very day. He had one friend who was about to be indicted and committed suicide, John Geddard. Okay, Larry Nassar was surrounded by mandated reporters, other doctors, coaches, professors, okay, security personnel, okay, attorneys. He was surrounded his whole career by mandated reporters, and only one, I think, was threatened with arrest and committed suicide. The rest are still running around free. In some cases, they still have their license to practice or license to do whatever they were doing before. So, asking a 12, so if you have a bunch of 12-year-old mouths running around and you don't ask what they're doing there, that may very well be bad judgment on your behalf. Worst case scenario, it may lead to you having to give up your profession. But it's highly rare you be prosecuted for that. The massage therapists, every one of them was 17, and not one of them had a damn license to give massages for money. Now, case in point, Epstein would be responsible for that. And even if you did charge him with hiring unlicensed massage therapists, well, he's dead, obviously, but on top of that, he was a billionaire with lawyers, and he could have pled it down to a parking ticket and paid a fine and been done with it. Now, as far as getting a massage from an underage girl, by law, you may think it's wrong. There is no law against it. By law. Okay? Case in point, if you had a party, it could be a house party, but whatever. If you had a party and a bunch of people running around, people from the neighborhood, school, college, high school, family, whatever, you have a bunch of people running around, okay? You could have a 25-year-old guy with a backache, and he could see a girl walking down and say, "Honey, my back hurts, can you walk on me?" He lays down, she kicks the shoes off, jumps on his back. Maybe her friend takes a picture of it. Maybe she takes a selfie of it. Her mother sees it. All she can do is say, "Don't do it again. I don't want you massaging older guys." She can't press charges. There's no law against it. She's 17, he's 25. There's no law against it. If they're in bed, there's a problem there, but there's no law against it, okay? You can have a 13-year-old girl on YouTube or whatever the hell, or home video, and she meets a 23, 24-year-old guy at a party, and she's giving him a back rub, okay? Her mother may not like it, but they can't press charges. There's no written law. So if you go to your friend's house and your friend says, "These are the massage therapists," okay, I'll have a massage. Now, unless you're selling guns, tobacco, or alcohol, how often do you ask for ID? Never. Case in point, my eye doctor. Been to him many times. Last time I went to him, I went to his new office with his new partner. He wasn't there. I don't know, sick, emergency, he wasn't there. I saw a woman, I thought she was his nurse or his assistant. She was his partner, a doctor. I've seen his certificates in his old office. When I walk by and see them on the wall, I didn't see her certificate. I didn't ask her. I didn't say, "Where's your license?" She's a doctor. You go to the emergency room. "I need a doctor." Doctor comes out. You ask for his license? Probably not. If you go to get a massage, you can get a massage at some airports. You get a chair massage where you sit in a chair and they pound the shit out of your back. You can go into a massage studio where they take your clothes off, put a towel around, and get a full body massage. The girl's working there. You ask for her ID? Probably not. Her license? Probably not. Do you ask? How often do you ask? Probably never. Case in point, I've been with the police department almost 14 years. I'm required to have my photo ID on my body at all times. I have never been asked for it on the street once. When we go to the Justice Center, my old high school's campus, the main Justice Center now, okay, we are required to wear our photo ID around our neck. Every single employee in that building is required to wear that photo ID around their neck. I will tell you now, less than 2% do that. They have their photo ID in their pocket, not around their neck. Case in point, how often we ask for ID? Almost never. The only time I'm asked for my ID is if there's a new court officer in the building and I walk past the metal detector without getting arrested. Here's my ID. Oh, you're a new court officer, here's my ID. Okay? But how often do you ask for ID? So you got a 17-year-old girl giving massages. She could be 25. She looks 25. She's 17. He didn't ask for her ID. He didn't ask for her license. Okay? Case in point, he's guilty of bad judgment. He may be embarrassed. His wife may punch him in the face. Okay, it's nothing I want to have made public about me. But can you make a charge stick? Now, you would literally need to have the girls come forward and say that person grabbed me. I was 12. He was older than 12 and he grabbed me. Or I was 17 and he offered me money for a blowjob. Okay, or he raped me. Now we have another problem. His word versus her word. Do you believe him? Do you believe her? Yes or no? Who do you believe? Probably her. Okay. All of Epstein's friends are millionaires. They have money. Money buys lawyers. Money picks a jury where one juror out of 12 rather, one juror out of 12 says, I'm not sure. The girl gets on the stand and says, that man raped me. 11 jurors say, I believe her. One juror says, I'm not sure. Where's the physical evidence? It's gone now. Is there video footage of it? Probably not. So maybe they're afraid that if they release names on the list and you can't make a case against the guy may sue. I would suggest giving the girls that were victims names, give them pictures, and maybe some memories will jog. Now, a couple guys mentioned Prince Andrew by name. Okay. And can you make the case? Can there be a statute of limitations made? Can you prosecute it? If you go down the Epstein list and you run it by the girls, run it by witnesses, maybe one person out of 50 gets charged. And they may very well get off. Maybe the government wants to save the embarrassment of having to have all these rich assholes walk into court and have all these girls say, that man raped me, and having one juror say, I'm not sure. I don't know. That's my theory. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. Okay? I mean, it would be embarrassing as hell, humiliating as hell, if you have an adult man at a resort or at an island or at a mansion and he sees a bunch of 12-year-old girls running around and he doesn't ask where their mothers are, and or he gets a massage from a 17-year-old girl that looks 25, is 17, but has no massage license and is giving massages for money. That would be humiliation to the nth degree, but it wouldn't be a crime. I mean, his career might be over. He might stop watching his movies. You might force him to resign from office, but it wouldn't be a crime. I don't know. But yes, I understand that Julian Maxwell is in prison for sexual trafficking nobody. That I understand. Well, that's a theory I have. Maybe I'm wrong. Do you have a theory? I'd love to hear it. Thank you.